Does anybody else remember the latter half of the 2021 NFT bull cycle? The part of the cycle where Cyberkongs and Bored Apes had a floor price miles above 100 ETH? The cycle where mutant serums were being purchased and bid up into the millions of dollars? The part of the cycle where in the NFT infrastructure space, the only name we could remember was OpenSea? For the sake of our portfolios, let's forget that ever happened. But since then, the NFT marketplace tech has gotten significantly better, and we've gotten way more chains involved. Welcome back to my video series, All Things Solana, where I'll be covering the most important niches and the projects in them on the Solana blockchain to simplify your journey into the crypto space. My name is Danilo, and if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. In today's video, we're diving into Tensor, the leading NFT marketplace on the Solana blockchain. We'll be talking about what is Tensor, why is it important, any prerequisites you may need before we get started, its key features, any pros and cons, and last but not least, leave you some tips at the end of this video. Whether you're new to crypto or simply trying to level up your knowledge, this video is for you. Let's start by asking, what exactly is Tensor? Tensor is an advanced NFT marketplace and trading platform built on the Solana blockchain. It aims to provide both a robust and easy to use environment for people to trade their NFTs, leveraging Solana's speed and low transaction costs. People buy and sell NFTs for various reasons. The first and foremost reason is speculation. People buy the most hyped drops in order to see profit down the line because they believe the price will go up. On the other hand, you have people that are buying it for more membership type groups. For example, there are plenty of groups nowadays and back in 2021 when it really took off that made NFTs as kind of their gateway into their group. So by owning it and by verifying the ownership, you can get access. And last but not least, some people just wanted to feel involved in some community that represented similar values to themselves. So why is Tensor so important then? Well, number one, Tensor has the deepest liquidity on the entire Solana network. For reference, back in 2021, NFTs were completely illiquid. If you wanted to sell off an NFT, you needed to have a direct buyer on the other side, or a buyer had to bid on your particular one in order to get rid of it. That was the fundamental problem of NFTs because unlike tokens, they can't just be instantly sold on the market when you needed it to be. Introducing the concept of collection bids allowed buyers to bid on entire collections of NFTs for any particular asset, which means now, with liquidity concept being introduced, sellers can offload their NFTs at any moment as long as there are bids on that collection and the liquidity exists. But liquidity is platform specific, so trading on the most popular platform is important if you want to have the deepest pool to be able to sell into. Second, Tensor has a lightning fast UI that actually updates in real time. I can't stress how awful it was to trade in 2021 because especially during hyped drops, you had to constantly be clicking the refresh button to seeing what was happening on the OpenSea website. But even if you were doing that, NFTs, for example, that were already sold, but it didn't update on the webpage still existed. NFTs that were being listed weren't being shown on the website just simply because of how high the traffic was and how inefficient it was overall. So because of that, a lot of failed transactions were to get through. And trust me, a failed transaction on ETH in 2021 was expensive. The ability to have an actually lightning fast UI is important for traders who want to lock in their profits in the moment as quick as possible. Lastly, Tensor has advanced functionality for pros. Whether you're a beginner who just wants to see the NFTs in a gallery style view, or you're a professional who wants to be able to chart specific metrics such as floor price and see them in a TradingView chart, Tensor has it all. In terms of prerequisites, you will need a crypto wallet set up on the Solana blockchain. If you haven't seen my video on the Phantom wallet, I'll link it in the description below. As well, have some Solana in your wallet to be able to buy any NFTs you may like, as well as to be able to pay for any of the blockchain fees you would incur while interacting with the platform. Let's actually explore some of Tensor's key features now. If you go to tensor.trade, you will get onto their landing page, which is their collections page, which is Tensor's high-level view of kind of what's happening on the platform, what's happening with the biggest NFT collections, etc. Now here, immediately when you land, you can look at all the trending NFT collections sorted by certain time frames, and you can look at stats like floor, sell now, 24-hour volume, sales, market cap, listing percentage. I mean, there's so many data points to look at. You can even sort by certain views. Right now it's a table view. We can have it in card view if this is what you find more convenient. but I'm going to stick it to table. Down here, we have some quality of life features. You can go light or dark mode. You can have certain settings. You can check out the most recent news right here if you press these 3 little stars. And one of the more important features is this light and pro mode. Now, this is what I was referring to when I was talking about earlier with Tensor being a robust and easy to use platform. In the case that you're a beginner, you would be using the light mode because that's kind of what's going to give you that open gallery view where it's easy to see specific artworks and it's easy to navigate. If you're more of a professional and you know what you're doing and you want to look at additional data points, such as historical floor price and listings at certain dates in the year, then I would go into pro mode, which you'll see what I look like under the trade tab when we explore that afterwards. As well, down here, you can set whether you want to see the NFT collections in prices before fees or after fees. To keep it simple, I recommend always keep it on with after fees because that's what you actually know what you're going to end up paying if you buy something or what you'll end up receiving if you sell something. Next thing we're going to look at is the trade tab on Tensor. This is probably where you're going to end up spending the most amount of time trading, buying, doing all sorts of things with the NFTs. We're going here, NFTs, and now we have the general interface of kind of what's going on here. Now, a lot is displayed here. It can be even a little complicated even with the light mode, but effectively gives you all the most essential features. Up top, it gives you all the most high-level important details you will need about an NFT collection, such as what the cheapest NFT is right now in the collection, what can you sell into right now, what price will you get if you immediately sell, the amount that's listed, volume, sales, and price delta. And across here, if you come down here, you have the items. You can also look at bids. These are the limit orders on the collections and particular traits. For example, here at the top, we have right now the highest limit order, which is 49 Solana. You might ask, well, Danilo, why is this person bidding 49 Solana and nobody's accepting his offer if the most cheapest one is at 28? Well, the answer is because he is bidding for a particular trait, which is why it does not match up with the sell now price that you see up here. If we actually go down and we find where it says traits and it says all traits, this is where the collection-wide bids begin, and this is where the liquidity generally lies for the entire NFT collection. So as you can see, if you look at the first bid for all traits, 27.95, that actually matches up with the sell now price. You can also look at things such as orders, price lock, which we'll talk about a little bit later because it's a little complicated. You can look at particular traits in the NFT collection, so seeing what's even available, and by clicking on them, you can even sort. You can look at hodlers, which are just people who have held certain NFTs the longest in the entire collection, and collection bid is where you'd actually begin bidding on the entire collection, and if you want to do a limit order, for example. To go back to the items page, on the left, this is kind of the main action area where you'll be doing things. If you want to sweep NFTs, you start here. Sweep simply means you want to be buying more than one at the same time. So let's say I want to buy like 14 NFTs. It'll select the 14 cheapest ones and sweep them for me. I can do bids, as we kind of talked about earlier. I can also cancel anything I want to do. And if I go to the sell tab, it's kind of the same deal. I can either list an NFT for a particular price, sell into a bid, or delist. Then down here, I can just filter by a few things that I won't really go over because they're kind of self-explanatory, but you can filter by price, by rarity when it comes to the traits, amount of traits. So do you want 1, 2, 3, 4 traits on your character, and particular traits. This is where I can try out the pro mode and show you the actual real difference in how it looks like. So here on the light mode, which again is what I think everyone should be using, or at least the beginners. But if we actually click on pro mode, this is a more complicated view because this is for people who actually want to see a detailed history and floor price or other metrics they want to chart. For example, here we have floor price as well as the listings at the time, but I can also look at things such as rarity price chart. So looking at specific traits and the history of prices with specific traits. As well, I can look at activity in order book. So looking at when buys were happening, when sells were happening, and when listings were happening. And with the order book, I can see where all the limit buys are in the collection to see where the actual liquidity lies. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to switch it right back to light mode because it's much easier to view things this way and much easier to explain certain concepts. And last but certainly not least, you have the price lock feature on Tensor, which you can go to the top left here, and under price lock, click on purchase locks to begin. As a quick disclaimer, price locks are a little more complicated, and I would understand all the mechanics behind them as well as all the risks associated with them before getting started. I will give a brief explanation, but I would not say that my brief explanation is enough for you to begin trading them. So I would seek out additional resources before you begin. If you want me to make a full-length video on the mechanics behind them, let me know in the comments below. Price lock is the ability for users to gain exposure to an asset's price without owning the asset itself. It's powerful because let's say there's a very expensive NFT that I can't afford to buy. Well, in the case that the NFT goes up in price or down in price, I can potentially make money on that movement if I'm using price locks. Before you ever begin with price locks, I would always recommend using the calculator feature that Tensor provides free of charge. This is where you can estimate what would happen if you went long or short on an asset and see what your potential downside and upside is. To give a quick example, if I'm the purchaser of a long lock, I believe that the price of the underlying asset will increase past a certain point that I specify within the time frame. The underlying asset in this case being Tensorians. Let's say I lock into a contract where the locked price is 8 Solana, and the existing floor after a week becomes 10 Solana. That means my total profit is the 10 Solana minus the 8 that I locked in at minus the contract fee that I paid to enter the contract. The opposite logic is true if I go to the short, which is where I believe the asset will actually decrease in price, and I will make the delta in the case that it does. In the case that in either of those directions, it doesn't go in the direction that I want it to go, and it doesn't actually break that lock-in price, then I will simply lose the contract fee that I paid to initially enter, and that is all. Furthermore, I'm able to fund these locks on the long side with the actual underlying asset, or if I'm funding shorts, I will fund it with Solana. If you feel you have a really good grasp on the mechanics of price locks, as well as all the risks associated with it, you may as well come up here and proceed where the purchase or the fund locks tab where you can actually begin. So under purchase locks, you have all the eligible NFT collections and their assets where you can go long or short. And under fund locks, this is where you can fund longs or fund shorts with the same eligible NFT collections. Now let's talk about some of the pros Tensor has to offer. Now, with the first one, I'm a little biased because I come from the class of 2021, but for me, the lightning fast speed and live updates is incredible and it's a game changer. Because my God, if you were not there in 2021 when all we had was OpenSea when that whole bull run started, it was awful. The fact that now I can see everything, lightning's fast, and I can make these quick split-second decisions on the go is a game changer. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. At the end of the day, part of the reason that's possible is because of Solana's high speed and transaction throughputs. But to say that the Tensor team didn't do anything to innovate on that is ridiculous. So we see this beautiful merger of the tech between Solana and Tensor to deliver this seamless application. Next, I love the liquidity that NFTs have now because of the whole collection-wide bid system on the Tensor platform. Now again, credit where credit is due. They did not invent this feature. After all, Blur on the ETH network is what really started that trend. Now when it came out, it was controversial. Some people say it ruined the way NFTs are being traded. Some people say it was a revolutionary step in the right direction. For me personally, in my own personal journey, it was a great benefit because there were many times where I needed to offload certain NFTs to get that liquidity ASAP for something that, for example, I needed money for in real life, or I needed to make a split-second trade on another asset class that I just did not have the Solana or the ETH for. So the fact that this whole idea of collection-wide bids and liquidity pools is introduced for NFTs was a game changer for me. And last but certainly not least, from a cons perspective, and again, this really isn't a con, but I wish Tensor was a multi-chain platform rather than just Solana. I don't know what they have in stock for the future, but I imagine a future where there is one big NFT marketplace that is able to capture a bunch of different chains all together to make sure that the experience for users from one chain to the next is really simple. It can be done all from one place. Let's leave you with some tips before I go. This one's a bit of an honest mistake, but make sure that if you like a certain trait in an NFT collection, whether you want to buy it or bid on it, or just kind of take a look at it, filter by those traits in the filter settings on the Tensor platform. I used to waste so much time just kind of manually scrolling looking for them when it really just was a few clicks away. To summarize, Tensor is a feature-rich NFT marketplace on the Solana blockchain for both beginners and professionals alike, whether you're interested in speculating or simply being part of a community. Today we talked about what is Tensor, why is it important, all the prerequisites you needed, all of its key features, pros and cons, and we left you with some tips at the end of this video. Before I go, I'd love to hear from you. Are there any other concepts or projects you want me to talk about in the next crypto video? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more crypto content. Thanks for watching.